Every song has a story of how it came together. Some of them are more start with the lyric. Some of them start with the like a vocal melody, and some of them start with a guitar riff. And and they start to take shape. Probably one of the most unique stories of how a song came together out of my catalog is a song called "My Scum Sweetheart." "My Scum Sweetheart" started with Bob Herdman, who was kind of one of the main lyric writers. We all lived in an apartment together. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we were writing all the time, each of us separately, and then we'd come together. And Bob came in with this, with the entire song, all the lyrics, no music, no melody, but just every word of "My Scum Sweetheart" already written on a piece of paper. And he showed it to us. And, since Mark was the vocalist, it was kind of, Mark had to like it, or he probably wasn't going to find a way to use it. And I don't think Mark, cared much for "My Scum Sweetheart" at first. But what Bob did is he took that piece of paper and he stuck it to the wall of our apartment. And it stayed there for weeks. And we just forgot about it. Didn't really give it another thought. And meanwhile, again, we're all writing things on our own. And I had been influenced by a jazz guitarist named Joe Pass. And Joe Pass, I'm not a jazz player really, but I had learned a song in high school of Joe Pass from a guitar magazine and learned it note for note and loved the complexity of the chord progressions. I just wanted to create something like that. And so I had been messing around with these chords, chords like this. And I'd come up with something that I liked, and it went like this. And I was just working on that. Didn't really think that could ever be an Audio Adrenaline song. Like, I just thought it was jazz. But I came up with a second part that was kind of built around what I've always called the Jimi Hendrix chord, which is this. And it went like this. And so I had those two parts. Again, didn't really show it to the guys because I didn't think anything would come of it. But one day I was in the apartment and I was just playing it. And, it got Mark's attention. He was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And he started singing along, kind of humming along, trying to find melodies to go with it. And then he snapped his fingers. He was like, this is "My Scum Sweetheart." Song we'd completely forgotten about. He runs and gets the paper off the wall and start singing those words to this song, and it just fit. And it just, all of a sudden, those words felt different. And, we were done in 30 minutes. We made a demo, played the demo for our record label, and, they loved the music, but they actually said, I don't think we can put this on the record. They said, I think the lyrics are just too abrasive. They might, this idea of "My Scum Sweetheart" might offend somebody. And, we hadn't ever really pushed back when our record label wanted something. We had just done it. And this time I remember Bob, he hit the table with his fist and he stood up and he said, "This is going on the record exactly the way I wrote it, or I quit right now." And they actually, they backed down. They let us put it on the record. Honestly, I think they probably would have kicked us out of the building. I think the only reason that they were more agreeable is because like 3 minutes before hearing "My Scum Sweetheart," they had heard "Big House." And so, they knew they had their hit song, and they were probably, a little more agreeable to let us do something creatively different. It was never a radio single, but it was really popular with our fans and a very popular live song, kind of a cult favorite, I guess you could say, of the band's. The only other part of it is the solo. And I had no idea going in the studio what I was going to do with the solo, but I just, I tried all kinds of bluesy and jazzy sort of things, and none of that seemed right. and going the direction that it had gone. I just felt like all it really needed was just to basically make the solo play the vocal melody, the chorus melody. But to make it unique and to make it fit more into our genre, what I did was I used just the most outrageous fuzz tone I could find. Our producer found a preset on this processor called Ripped Speaker, and we recorded the solo with Ripped Speaker, and then we recorded just a bunch of just guitar noise, just all kinds of crazy guitar sounds that are just kind of layered underneath that playing of the solo.